Tonight, another huge day of testimony from Erin Patterson in the Leongatha mushroom murder trial. The prosecution finally getting the opportunity to question the woman they accuse of triple murder. It's the moment we've been waiting for. The prosecution unleashing on Erin Patterson, who today was cross-examined for the first time. Grilled about the lies she told police.
You lied about dehydrating food and mushrooms because you knew that if you told police the truth, then that would implicate you in the poisoned lunch. Agree or disagree?
I agree that I lied because I was afraid I would be held responsible.
You knew that if you told police the truth, then you would be immediately suspected by police of being involved in a poisoning event.
That's probably true, yes.
And questioned about evidence from a senior doctor at Monash Health who testified Patterson had told her she had never foraged for mushrooms.
Do you accept that Professor Stewart asked you if you'd been mushrooming?
I accept that that's what she said.
Did you, in effect, say no to Professor Stewart?
To which question?
If you'd been mushrooming.
I don't remember that conversation.
Patterson also asked about several photographs found on a tablet in her home, which show mushrooms being weighed on electronic scales.
I suggest that you were weighing these death cap mushrooms so that you could calculate the weight required for the administration of a fatal dose for one person. Agree or disagree?
Disagree.
The prosecution then pushing Patterson on testimony from sole survivor Ian Wilkinson, who claims she told the lunch guests she had cancer.
Did you tell the lunch guests that you had cancer?
I did not.
Ian Wilkinson's evidence is that you went on to talk about a diagnostic test.
I think I talked about that. I'd been undergoing some testing.
Ian Wilkinson's evidence is that it showed a spot on the scan that was a tumour.
I remember him saying that in his evidence, but I don't believe I said that.
The prosecution's theory?
I suggest that you never thought you would have to account for this lie of having cancer because you thought that the lunch guests would die and your lie would never be found out.
That's not true.
Erin Patterson has pleaded not guilty to all charges.
Well, live from the lands of the Cooler Nation, Erin Pearson is the Age's crime and justice reporter. She's been in the Morwell court again today. Erin, obviously that was a reenactment we did, but that was a huge assertion from the prosecution, a big moment. What was that moment like in the courtroom?
Yeah, that's right. Nanette Rogers, the Crown prosecutor, was raring to go today. She seemed to not be able to get to her feet quick enough to start asking questions after the accuser's defence barrister has taken her through questioning for the last couple of days. And the cancer diagnosis or lack of was a really big part of Nanette Rogers' questions today. And right towards the end of the day, that focused on how and why you were coming up with this so-called cancer con was the way that it was described. And after denying that she said to her lunch guests that she had cancer, she was asked that question. Did you lie? And did you think that that lie would ever come out? And she said she didn't, maintains that she didn't lie deliberately, but she did lie in order to garnish some love and support from her family.
Erin Patterson also refuted some of the evidence from sole survivor Ian Wilkinson. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so a lot of the propositions that came out during his evidence was put to the witness today. And Ian Wilkinson had explained to the jury that his recollection of conversations at the lunch table on that fateful day was about the fact that he believed Erin Patterson had told the lunch guests she had cancer and that she needed some help and support in figuring out how to break the news to the children and whether or not she should break the news to the children at all. Other evidence was also put to her from Simon Patterson, her estranged husband. Now, the jury were told that the day after the lunch, his father, who died after the lunch, had said to him similar things, that his recollection was that Erin Patterson had shared that she had cancer and was concerned about how she was going to break the news to the children. When this was put to Erin Patterson, she said she didn't really have a recollection of that. She didn't believe that she told the lunch guests that day that she definitely had cancer or that there was any plans for treatment.
The court heard that Erin Patterson hid mushrooms in food she fed to her children. What can you tell us there?
That line of questioning from the prosecution was largely around whether or not in the lead up to the lunch, in the months before the lunch, Erin Patterson had been hiding ground up, dehydrated, dried mushrooms in her children's food. Now, she agreed. She said, yes, she had been doing this and her intention was to use mushrooms and to hide them in food. And that was the activities that she'd been doing. But she denied that she did this as any form of practice for anything. And she said the reason that she did that was because she wanted to get more vegetables into her children's food.
Erin Pearson, thanks so much again for joining us.
Thank you.